Well, hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody, and welcome to the new subscribers. Thanks so much for tuning in. Well, as promised today, we're going to get into the severe malignant narcissist and how they break boundaries. Yes, they are boundary breakers. You know, why they break boundaries, how they break boundaries, and how you can keep your boundaries in place. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And if you haven't hit the subscription button, please do so. It always helps the channel to grow and gets this word out. And hit that notification bell so you can be notified when a new video comes out. So thanks for all you do, guys. You are awesome. Now, getting into this, we know that the malignant narcissist breaks boundaries. Well, we know the narcissist doesn't break boundaries during the love bombing stage. They're love bombing you. They want to rope you down. They want to win your trust over. So they're not going to divulge a heck of a lot about themselves, but they're going to ask you what your deal breakers are, what your boundaries are, what's important to you. And it's all just taking mental notes so they know how to act on best behavior, how not to ruffle your feathers, how not to hurt you. So you're roped in. You're in their web of destruction. And it's only after they win your trust. And as I said, for a lot of people, they've moved away from family. They've moved to different areas far away from people that they knew. They've left their job. They've entrusted them with finances. The narcissist is very, very good at convincing people that they're to be trusted during the love bombing stage. They're not doing anything to violate your boundaries. And then one day, shockingly so, the mask falls off. And usually a huge boundary is broken. Now, a lot of you have been there, and let me know in the comments below if it was a shocker or if it was a gradual thing. 99 times out of 10 with these severe malignant narcissists, these ones high on the spectrum with psychopathic and sociopathic behavior and sadomasochistic behavior many times, in most cases, their boundary violation is a shock, completely out of the blue, unexpected. And at that point, that's when the mask is off, and that's when there's a series of multiple boundaries being broken, trying to wear out the target. It's a way to gain control over the target. It's a way to wear them out. It's a way to frighten them and intimidate them and show who's in control. And it induces fear in the target. They don't know what hit them because it's so out of the blue and so opposite of the person that they met during the love bombing stage. So the question to ask yourself is, have you put healthy boundaries in place for relationships, for work, for family, for friends? And if so, if you do have boundaries in place and know what your limits are, if somebody has broken those boundaries, were there consequences? What did you do when somebody broke one of your boundaries? Did you ignore it? Did you just talk with them and forgive them right away? Did they break further boundaries? Now, we know the narcissist does this. When they break one boundary and you take them back, that just gives them carte blanche to break more and even more serious boundaries in the future. You lose your credibility, guys. You lose your credibility. They see you as a pushover. But you know what? We know the type of coercion, we know the type of manipulation, and the false self that the narcissist puts forward. It's not your fault. These types are predatory. They're predators. They all go by the same playbook. They know during the love bombing stage that they're gathering information about you and they're on their best behavior. And they know once that they've gained your trust, that mask is going to fall down, and their goal is to destroy you. And they destroy you by breaking every boundary possible in your life. And your head is spinning because for so long you knew them as a credible, good person who didn't break any boundaries. They're just in a state of shock. You know, they can't believe that this is the same person. All of a sudden, the narcissist breaks a boundary that is shocking and very important to the target. And that's why it's so confusing, and that's why many times they stick around because they're knocked off balance. It was totally unexpected. I think that's what happens. It's just very traumatic and puts the target in a state of confusion and disbelief, and really is it's hard to believe. So targets tend to stay. They tend to take the narcissist back. They don't stick by their boundaries and consequences that perhaps they thought that they would keep in place. And so therefore they lose their credibility with the narcissist. Set boundaries around certain areas and stick by those boundaries. In other words, if anyone violates these boundaries, know that they don't have your best interests at hand. Now, these boundaries should be set around your personal time, the amount of time you spend with people. You have to take care of yourself and your own responsibilities. So somebody that is narcissistic obviously won't respect that time boundary. They'll demand more of your time and break those boundaries. Also, they will break boundaries when it comes to your morals and ethics. That's why we believe, many of us, that these types are demonic representatives, because not only do they upset you, not only do they deceive you and present a false self, but they encourage you to break your morals and your ethics, and many times your covenants with God and the commandments. So that's not somebody of God. That's somebody who's working for the adversary that wants to lead you to sin and lead you away from God. But because they're so coercive and so manipulative, many times, they lead people to do things that they wouldn't normally do ethically. And that's of the adversary, is it not? Also, set boundaries when it comes to, your emotional energy. How much time are you spending being upset, in tears, unable to function because of their actions? And they really don't have any concern for you, or upsetting you, or deceiving you, or draining you of your time and breaking your boundaries. So if they're draining you of your emotional energy, take care of yourself, because you can't serve God and do what God wants you to do if you're emotionally drained. They'll have you break boundaries when it comes to material possession and finances. There's been so many cases where the narcissist convinces the target to sell their home, sell their items, move with them somewhere far away, give up their job, give up their income, or they restrict finances. They promise them that they're going to have finances and basics, and then they restrict them, and they punish the target by making them beg for basics. That's happened many, many times. Financial abuse by the narcissist. So you can set limits, on all of these. Your personal boundaries. No, I don't share my finances right off the bat. No, I'm not going to quit my job and get rid of my personal income, believing you when I don't know you very well. But the narcissist is persistent. They are very persistent. They're very good at what they do. And their persistence really does well in sales, in real estate, in investment banking. Wherever they have to have people sign on the dotted line, these guys excel. So they tend to be very successful and very good at convincing people that they're honest and ethical and to do what they're advising. So take heed to that. Make sure you know what you're dealing with here, and keep your boundaries in place. Now remember that when the mask drops off of the narcissist, your no means yes to them. They don't hear the word no. They don't understand the word no. But it's not up to you to explain forever why your answer is no. They broke a boundary. It's your decision for your life to have a happy life and an uncomplicated life and a life serving the Lord, that you say no. And that's the end of it. But the narcissist will try to engage, try to get you emotional. That's what they feed off of, guys. So don't buy into it. Next thing you know, they're word salading you, they're gaslighting you, they're flipping it around, and they're blaming you for them breaking your boundary. It's just maddening. It's enough to just have your head spinning. So rather than engage in their games, their demonic games, relationship games, just say no. You don't have to give a reason. That's it. I'm sorry you broke a boundary. Just know that the answer no should suffice. That should be enough for them. And no explanation is needed. You're simply caring for your time, your health, your emotional state, your finances, and your life, and respecting yourself. And once you get into a debate, it just turns south. Next thing you know, they're trying to convince you to stay, and a lot of times it gets so exhausting that the target is convinced or coerced or manipulated to stay longer than they should. And it just keeps the roller coaster ride with the narcissist going. Now, before I sign off with this video, there's one more area where the severe malignant narcopath breaks boundaries, and that's in the area of your personal space and your privacy. They feel they own you still at that point. You said no to them. You went no contact, so they're going to be set out to punish you, and they're going to continue to break boundaries. They've been known to show up at people's doors, stalk people in rental cars and family cars, so you don't know they're stalking you. They've actually hacked into computers, shown up at people's places of employment, slime campaign them intrusively on social media. Nothing is off limits when it comes to an enraged, malignant narcissist who's heard the word no. That's just what they do, and they feel it's completely allowed. But you have to really enforce the consequences when those things happen. Tell law enforcement, get a restraining order if you have to. Really do what you have to do to keep safe. Document each and every time they break those privacy and personal space boundaries. Tell friends and family or people that you trust what's going on. Don't suffer in silence. Many times targets feel that they can handle it themselves. And many times it doesn't end well, because they can't handle it themselves. It's too big for them to handle. The narcissist wants a compliant target or somebody that's vulnerable and by themselves. So the best thing to do is let them know you're not by yourself. Let them know there's going to be consequences if they break another boundary. And when that boundary breaks, please enforce those consequences, whatever they are, whether it's telling law enforcement, getting a restraining order, involving the police, whatever you have to do. But please keep safe. And just know that there's numbers underneath these videos if anybody is going through any type of physical violence with a narcissist. There are resources and numbers to call to get help. Please don't suffer in silence. Now, all of this behavior that I just discussed, breaking boundaries, the harassment, the torments, are markings of the adversary. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And his big thing that he prides himself on is tormenting and harassing people. And he does that by breaking your boundaries, breaking your personal space, your privacy, by violating what's important to you, and tries to wear you down that way. The main purpose that a narcissist is in your life is to wear you out, break you down, turn you away from God, and pull you away from your calling, making it so you're paralyzed and you're so devastated by their actions that you can't fulfill God's purpose in life and your calling. So at the first breaking of a boundary, that's the time to really leave, because it just gets worse. The boundaries they break are bigger, and it never ends well. So I hope this was helpful, everybody. And please rumble on Rumble and follow on Facebook if you haven't already. And make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that notification bell so you can get notified when a new video is out. And if anyone is going through a hard time, whether it's with a narcissist or not, please email me at AngelHavenMinistry, and I can send you information on how to have a guidance meeting with me from a Christian perspective. And sometimes it helps just to talk things over with somebody that understands. So I hope this was all helpful, everybody, and know that I'm keeping you all in prayer. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Did your severe narcissist break boundaries all of a sudden, or was it, small boundaries and then larger boundaries down the road? And how did you handle it? How did they react when you set boundaries or consequences for their actions? Curious to find out. Anyway, everybody, I'll be back with a new video soon, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And most of all, keep safe, and I'll talk to you soon. God bless.